be here at the Web Summit representing NAVYA today and share with you in 15 minutes, so it's very fast, some of our experience and the challenge that are ahead of us. I know that there have been many panels this morning, and among these huge challenges, some of the items that we have already been discussed with prestigious panelists. So there might be also some items which are a bit more controversial. I was about to ask the question to all of you, but I think it's been asked already this morning. Who owns a personal car in the audience? Here it is. I mean, most of us do, unfortunately. And, well, this is what it is about. I mean, the challenge that we are facing. We all know this figure. But it's not only a figure. It's about the way we live, we move, we behave within city. Today, it's almost a little bit above 50% of the population living in megacities. In 30 years of time from now, it's going to be more than 2/3 of worldwide population living in megacities. So we all know what it is about, but it's not only about data, about figures, it's about us. It's about us sharing, how do we share time, how do we share air, how do we share space within cities. Today, cities, and tomorrow, in 30 years of time from now, it's going to be mega cities, 20 to 40 million inhabitants. Could you imagine that? So this is what it is about. This is a challenge. You know that. And what is smart city in 2050? Smart city in 2050 is all about this. Mobility, autonomous vehicle, electric vehicle, 3D transportation mode, not only on ground, but also in the air. It's about technology, it's about happiness, it's about connection, it's about smart solution. So most of this are concept or experiment today. The question is, can we do that? Can we face this challenge so that in 2050, we'll have all a better life in the cities? Is it possible? Well, it's good news, bad news. We have 30 years ahead of us. Think where we were, all of us, 30 years ago. It was the nascence of internet. AOL, CompuServe, was just starting the business. So the good news is it's going fast. We have time ahead of us, but we must start now. And we must start to build solutions not only replacing, but complementary to existing transportation mode. So where are we now, and how NAVYA can contribute to this market? NAVYA develops, makes, service autonomous vehicle. We make hardware, we make software for vehicle for urban environment, first and last mile. It's no cars, conventional cars. It's vehicles with no pedal, no steering wheels, and this is it's a range of vehicles for the market today. Where are we? We have deployed more than 100 vehicles worldwide in Europe, Far East, Southeast, Australia, and North America. What have we learned from these different experiments in private site and public area? Let's have a look how it turns out. There was supposed to be a video here, so there's no video. Sorry, I would have been glad to show you a video. Always technical issues. But what have we learned from our experiments? What we've learned is that there is 3 key drivers to to reach the mobility autonomous era. The first one is a personal shift. All of us who raise hand, having a personal car is really to move from possession, from object to service, from possession to mobility service. That's one. Second big driver to reach autonomous is the way the network operator will deliver new service and new mobility solution to all of us. And three, but maybe the most important, is a challenge for autonomous vehicle makers, is how we create a real new user experience with safety, with security for passengers, but really a new experience on board of the vehicle. This is what it is about. So there already been some things that have been achieved today or are about to be. This is what we measure every day through our different exploitation worldwide. First of all, people mindset. The ability for passengers to adopt autonomous vehicles is very fast. We have, through our passenger survey, more than 90% of satisfaction rates for all passengers that we have transported worldwide. Basically, it takes a minute and a half to figure out what is the environment, how the vehicle behaves, stops, brakes, accelerates, etc. And there, everybody's back on their iPhone. So the journey gets boring. We won. This is exactly what we were looking at. Second is technology. Technology goes fast. Today, there is every day, through experiments, there is a lot of improvement of this technology to reach in all safety, in all security, higher speed, full autonomous mode, that is to say, no driver on board of the vehicle, and also, of course, reaching the level of security everywhere. Third item that has been already achieved, which is in place right now, in progress, it's work in progress, is how we work with public authorities to define, to set up a regulation environment that not only enables the experiments, but define who owns, what are the safety regulations, what are the safety requirements for the vehicle, what are the security requirements for passengers, etc., etc. This is work in progress, and in most countries where we do operate, we have this collaboration with public authorities to make it happen. So what's left to be done? I picked up from the items which, to our experience, are right now the most important. There are basically two components. One is that the user scale, for passengers, is about having a journey from point A to point B, classical demonstration, but using X number of different transportation mode. It can be bicycle, it can be a shuttle, autonomous shuttle, it can be a conventional tram or metro or bus. How do I get from this point A to this point B, from my door to where I want to go, with a seamless, no wasted time between point A and point B? That is to say, I need to have platforms from different operators who interoperate. And this is something which is key and which is not yet happening. That is to say, something on which all network operators have to work, is to connect, to interface, to provide to you, to provide to me, seamless transportation, one single payment from one point A to one point B, using different modes of transportation. This is very important. The second challenge which has still to be faced is what you already heard this morning from different car makers, is enhancing user experience on board the vehicle. We are talking about augmented mobility. Tomorrow, autonomous vehicle will become a part of your home, a part of your office. So how do I behave? What do I do in this vehicle? We need to offer and provide passengers with really a different experience, watching movies, having a video conference, buying tickets for movies, for cinemas, etc. All this on board of vehicles. It's really the new paradigm of the EV makers and car makers of tomorrow, is really to build the journey further to your destination. And last but not least, there is a real challenge also about infrastructure. Just two items for you to have in mind. We will live a transition period whereby autonomous vehicle will have to get along with conventional vehicle, that is to say drivers, that is to say human, that is to say human error and human failure. So the way also to alleviate and mitigate those risks is to start as soon as possible in an infrastructure that enables dialogues between autonomous vehicle and conventional vehicle, and even pedestrian, in order for this fluidity to become real. The other big challenge, and I will finish with this, is of course about data. Data, you heard about this. Data is the buzzword of this summit and of course of this century. It's about privacy, of course. But before we talk about privacy, it's about sharing also the infrastructure. Bandwidth is a real issue. How do we share bandwidth between different networks and operators who are all greedy about data? Data enables us to learn, but tomorrow we have to think in being data slim to enable real privacy protection, and also to enable to share the infrastructure altogether. I'm already done. Thank you very much. Again, as you see, it's a shame that you haven't seen our video, but the real revolution, mobility revolution, is already on the way. We are convinced that we will get there, and let's go for it. Let's go for it now. Thank you very much.